Welcome to AI Chain Reaction, the podcast where we unpack the incredible world of artificial intelligence and automation. Each week, we're diving deep into the tech that's reshaping our lives, our businesses, and our future. From groundbreaking innovations and the latest industry news to practical strategies on how you can leverage AI automation for growth. We're covering it all. We'll be joined by leading experts, innovators, and thought leaders who are at the forefront of this digital revolution. Are you ready to explore how one small change can set off a massive chain reaction of progress? Then you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Welcome back to AI Chain Reaction, the show where we unpack how AI and automation are transforming the way we work, move, and deliver value. I'm Nick Winters, joined by my co-host Devon. Today, we're talking about how to scale smart and international logistics, especially in the fast-growing Latin American e-commerce space. And who better to join us than Christie, VP of Sales and Marketing at SkyPostal, one of the most trusted names in cross-border shipping and a leader in helping U.S. sellers reach new markets across Latin America. Christie, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. It's great to join you guys.
I second that too. Yeah, thanks so much, Christie.
Alrighty, well, before we get in to the tech side, let's start with your journey. What led you to SkyPostal in the world of cross-border logistics?
My career has started in retail. So I started in in-store retail back in the day working at Circuit City. I then moved over to Sears doing online. Then shortly after headed up their marketplace. From there, I got sort of into the cross-border world. I went to Aeropost and launched a marketplace in Latin America and the Caribbean to 10 countries. We also did what they call a free Miami address into 32 countries over there to Latin America and the Caribbean. And the free Miami address is if a customer in Colombia wants to order something from Best Buy doesn't ship to Colombia. So they would sign up for this free Miami address. It would go through Aeropost and we would ship it to the customer. So from there, I picked up on sort of this cross-border world, really wanted to get into it. Only 5% of U.S. sellers are currently selling into Latin America, including Mexico, which borders the U.S. Everybody's focused on Europe, which is across the water. And it's so close to get to Latin America, and the market is growing astronomically.
Love it. Yeah, it's growing, like you said, and it's also so close, but yet so few people know that much about it and how to distribute down there and how the different countries work and all the intricacies of it. So really, really cool background.
Yeah, definitely. And with more than 15 years of experience driving e-commerce, supply chain, and marketing success across global markets, how has your background across e-commerce and marketplace development shaped how you approach growth and partnerships today?
I'm able to understand what sellers, retailers, brands are going through and how they would need to approach Latin America based on the size and their teams. There are different ways to get into Latin America, so I'm able to help steer them into the direction that's easiest for them and makes the most sense. And they can transition to one of the other directions later once they get going and get some momentum headed that way.
Awesome. Well, let's think big picture now. Latin America is one of the fastest growing e-commerce regions in the world. From your perspective, what's fueling that growth right now?
So the cell phone adoption is huge in Latin America. People are using their cell phones and the internet more and more. And that's what's really streaming this e-commerce growth that they're seeing. Last year, e-commerce in Latin America did about $195 billion. By 2028, it's going to do $270 billion. So it's the fastest growing e-commerce in the world right now over the next 3 years at about 30% a year. With that said, like I said, there's tons of opportunities for U.S. sellers because not very many people are playing in that world. And we know that in Latin America, they want the expanded assortment. So in a lot of cases, like Nike shoes, we probably have 200 different styles of Nike shoes in the States. Well, in Colombia, they probably only have 25 to 30 different, and they always want what they can't get. So they're always, looking to get something like that. So that's really what it's an expanded assortment thing. They're also aspiring. It's an aspirational purchase for in a lot of other countries too. To be able to say that I bought something from the U.S. It drives people to want to, sort of bragging rights almost.
Yeah. Latin America can seem intimidating, New markets, different rules, customs, currencies. What are the biggest misconceptions about entering those markets?
I think one of the biggest ones is in Latin America, you don't have to repackage your labels and your products to have Spanish or Portuguese. Where in Europe, I know there's a lot of packaging rules and regulations. I don't know what they all are, but I do always hear people, "What do you mean they don't have to have Spanish on them, they're fine in English," and that's
Yeah.
exactly the truth. So everything that you're doing in the US can just go straight to Latin America. It's not a big deal. They don't have the same restrictions in Latin America that they do in countries like Europe. The other thing too, I think it's very black and white of what is restricted by country versus what's not. In Europe, from what I
Mhm.
understand, and I'm being very high level and generic on this, but like the
Yeah.
red iPhone might be restricted, but you could sell a blue iPhone in there. In Latin America, it's the iPhone is restricted.
Mhm.
So it's very black and white on what products can go where into each country. It does differ by country, and we can assist with that at SkyPostal, but it's very easy to get in there. And as far as the different ways to get in there, I provide very simple ways to help people expand into Latin America.
Is it pretty consistent on the country on what's allowed or not allowed, or does the product mix have to change a lot? Yeah.
No, it's actually very consistent. There are a few countries where beauty products and health and supplement products are not allowed. It's about half and half of where they're allowed versus where they're not. Where they are allowed, though, they are like top selling items. But
Mm.
it's fairly consistent. Like firearms aren't allowed. Like it's stuff that you would just think of
Mm.
every day that you wouldn't even try to sell into these countries for the most part.
You've worked with marketplaces like Mercado Libre, Amazon Mexico, Walmart Latin America. How are these platforms changing the landscape for global brands?
So it's very different in Latin America as far as
Mhm.
marketplaces compared to the US. In the US, if
Mhm.
you're on Amazon, eBay, Walmart, you've pretty much hit the top marketplaces. But in
Yeah.
Latin America, there are about 20 different marketplaces and they vary by country. So there's Mercado Libre, there's Amazon Brazil, Amazon Mexico, Walmart Chile, Walmart Mexico. But then there's also a bunch of other ones like Paris, Chile, Magalu, Dafiti,
Mhm.
Netshoes, Casa Video. So there's so many different marketplaces and they vary by what they sell. It's not as
Mhm.
broad based as they are here in the US. And they vary by country. So some of them are very country specific. One of the things that we've noticed is Mercado Libre really focuses on in that country, their sellers. They're not focused on US sellers like some of the other marketplaces are. Amazon Mexico,
Okay.
Amazon Brazil, Walmart Mexico, they're very focused on getting US sellers up and they really want to try to expand their seller network. Whereas, like
Okay.
I said, Mercado Libre, they're focused on in Brazil, they're focused on their Brazil sellers. In other Mexico, they're focused on their Mexico sellers. That's where myself and my partners can really help brands, sellers, manufacturers get into this in the right way.
Oh,
Well,
that's
that's awesome.
incredible.
That's invigorating too. So you're not having to deal with the same U.S. consumer that everybody else is fighting for, right? You can really niche down on those markets. That's amazing.
Well, where do you see the biggest opportunities for innovation or impact within your industry right now?
So it's so new going into Latin
Mhm.
America for the US. They're definitely not at the same level as, say, Amazon is, at least, and the aggregators that we have here, like the US aggregators where you can sign up on like Rhythm or Set Commerce or Three Colts to load all your products onto one platform and they sparse it out to the different platforms. Right now, there's two companies. One company that does that where you load your product in and you do the pricing, you control pricing, inventory, assortment into the different marketplaces. And they're on about 20 different marketplaces and you pick which marketplaces and they'll help you. They'll guide you to which marketplaces are the best. They're actually a partner of ours. We ship for all of their products to Latin America. There's a second one that's been around for years, Knock Knock. Everybody's heard of them, but they are very selective of which products they take and they add to the price that the seller or manufacturer or brand is putting in there. So you put in your price to their platform and then they add on top of that. They add on all their fees for marketing, for commissions, for themselves, etc. So you're not in charge of the price that's selling. So two different models, two different ways to go on that aspect. Then there's a platform that's actually brand new that's we are supporting as well. It's called Go, and they're a
Mm.
shopping platform. Like Google Shopping, they're a shopping platform where there's no fees to the sellers. They load their items onto the site. Customers in those countries can go find the products, buy them, and they'll see duties, shipping, all of that, taxes to last mile delivery fees all in one price, which if you're using that free Miami address thing, you're looking at your free Miami address for taxes and duties, and you're looking at this one for shipping to Miami and taxes and price of the product. So you're at two different places trying to figure out how much is this product going to be. It's kind of, a pain for customers, especially this day and age
Yeah.
with all the tools in AI.
Yeah.
And then there's the easy way too. If you're a Shopify seller, you can just turn on your Shopify store and sell in these countries. And they
Mm.
calculate duties and stuff like that. We're connected to Shopify. So our shipping rates can be added in and you can show everything, including duties, taxes, shipping all at once to the customer from your own Shopify store.
Pretty smooth. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible. For listeners who might not know yet, what does SkyPostal do differently in the cross-border logistics space?
SkyPostal has its own private courier network that we've developed over the last 50 years. So
Wow.
we will be 30 to 40% cheaper than a DHL, FedEx, or UPS, and much more reliable than a USPS. We'll have the same level of KPIs as the big guys that I just named at a much better price. The postal services in Latin America are about as good as our postal service here, maybe not even as good. It's not the way you want to go. The courier service is the way all the big guys do it. Amazon is a customer of ours, eBay, Tiendemia, Walmart. They all use our private courier network because of its reliability and cost effectiveness.
Makes sense.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, how do you simplify complexity for clients across multiple borders?
So that would be, depending on the customer and how much volume they're going to have. If they're just getting started, they don't know the volume, I would suggest the aggregator route or the Shopify route. The aggregator route is easier, I think, or doing both because you're hitting different audiences. You're hitting on Shopify, your own store, and you'll do your own advertising on like Meta, downloading the product catalog on Meta. Whereas if you are going through our third-party aggregator, eCross, you're able to connect to all the different marketplaces that they currently are connected to for one simple price and just the commission with them. And SkyPostal has exclusive rates with them. So anybody that's coming through me gets better rates and a lot better rates than, they're going directly to them.
Mm. Awesome.
Well, what are the biggest bottlenecks you face and have had to overcome when scaling SkyPostal?
Customs changes.
Oh, yeah.
Customs itself, I would say
Definitely.
those are definitely the biggest issues within Latin America. Sometimes things get lost or customs they stop packages for what we see as no reason, but they will. They'll just randomly stop packages. So when our customers are expecting a package to be delivered in 7 to 10 days, it might take 12 to 15 days because customs has stopped it. That's nothing that we can control. No control it, and it happens to everybody. It happens to UPS, FedEx, DHL. It happens to
Oh, yeah.
us. It's just one of those things. I think that they just kind of do what they want to do. It's not like in the US where I feel like there's set protocols. So if it comes into the US and it doesn't hit the set protocols, it's going to get stopped. Otherwise, it's going to flow through just fine. In Latin America, they do what they want to do.
Yeah. Is
Oh,
it
yeah.
kind of black box or do you have relationships or visibility locally?
We do have relationships by country. So we have country managers that are in each country that have built relationships with the customs officials so they can get information and feedback, what's going on with this, how soon is it going to move, especially if it's been sitting there for a few days, and they can help try and expedite the process a little bit for something that seems to be stuck.
Oh, that's awesome. I imagine that helps a lot. If nothing else, just
Oh,
to
yeah.
get the information about what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, can you share a success story where SkyPostal helped a brand scale into Latin America successfully?
We've got several success stories, definitely. So we've got Amazon sellers that sell into Latin America via Amazon Brazil, Amazon Mexico, and they're doing several thousand orders a month.
Wow.
So this is all incremental to their US business. It's so easy. We've
Yeah.
got recently I've had electronics customers turn on their platform. And to start off, they hit a couple hundred right off the bat a month. So everything's incremental and it just depends on how much work you're putting into the business and how much effort. It's the same as in the States, right? How much effort you
Totally.
put into marketing and getting your product known out there is how much you're you're going to get back. The good thing is the CAC in Latin America and the ad spend is much cheaper than it is in the US because there's far less competition bidding products in those categories. So it's a whole lot cheaper for your customer acquisition cost to get new customers in Latin America than it is in the US. And customers are willing to wait and pay for the duties and the shipping and all of that to get products from the US.
Oh, that's perfect.
Very nice. Yeah.
Well, going off of that, what's been one of your proudest moments so far in terms of impact or outcomes?
I think being able to be a preferred partner for Walmart Mexico is probably one
Yeah.
of my
Oh, yeah.
proudest moments. Getting in the door took a long time. It was just consistent approach, trying to get to the right person. And when we finally did, we were able to make headway and became one of their preferred partners for their Fulfill by Seller program to Walmart Mexico.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. It's
Oh, yeah.
definitely a great company, very high standards, lots of procedures to follow, I'm sure. So yeah, really cool.
Definitely. So what makes SkyPostal different from others trying to solve the same problem?
There's not any others trying to save the same problem, helping sellers and
Okay.
retailers and manufacturers and brands. And that's what's setting us apart is there is UPS, FedEx, DHL that will ship it for you, but they're not offering the different solutions and help walking you through based on your business model, what is going to be the best solution for you. And that's where SkyPostal is going to come in and sit down and talk with each customer and say, okay, what are you doing now based on your product category? What's your current volume in the US? What are your product categories? And sit down and figure out the best approach for you to get into Latin America.
So what are some of the marketing or operational strategies that you've seen work best for driving loyalty in these international markets?
Social media. Social media shopping in Latin America is larger than it is in the States. When I was at Aeropost and we turned on our meta feed for our marketplace, we saw a positive return on investment in 3 weeks. It was
Wow.
so fast and so easy. So using the meta catalog, which is very easy to use, and doing TikTok shop, and we've got partners that can help do TikTok shop in Portuguese and Spanish for those that don't have anybody that's fluent in them. Those are the best ways to get out there. Instagram, Meta, Facebook, TikTok shop. Those are the best ways to get product out there and get your sales going.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was going to be one of
Oh,
my
yeah.
questions later. If social selling was a big component down there, it feels like they're way ahead of us even in social selling, and which ones like TikTok and Instagram and such. So that's really, really cool.
That's incredible. Is there a role for AI, maybe in predictive pricing, lane optimization, driving performance, or something else entirely?
There's definitely a lane, room for AI in every aspect of every business, I think. Definitely in marketing, definitely in, for sellers and marketing to the customers in Latin America, for pricing, to understand the pricing differences and perhaps the velocity that, going up or down, because we do know that customers are willing to pay more for certain products that are not available in Latin America than they are in the States. So trying to understand how much can you actually make from a profitability standpoint? Where is that plateau at? And then from a customer service standpoint, right? Like to be able to to offer guidance and help to those customers in Spanish and Portuguese,
Oh, yeah,
which
absolutely.
AI is finally getting better at getting Spanish and Portuguese better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 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 Well, as you scale, where do you see the biggest opportunities?
So they need to get into all of Latin America. So it's not going to one country or another country. Like I said, it's really going to all of Latin America. So it just depends on how, a customer is set up. I would say if they can, they would take several of the options and not just do one of the two or three, but try to do several of the options to try to hit the different audiences that are shopping different ways, as well as using social media to really get out there. Right now, while
Yeah.
penetration is low for the US, it's the time to get out there and win and get your name known before everybody else decides that they need to. Especially with the US economy, we are seeing more and more interest in Latin America. It's growing for US sellers. So my suggestion is to get in now while penetration is low, get your name and your brand going, especially on some of these marketplaces where, over time it will help your rankings for your products as more competition enters that market.
I love that. Yeah. Well, What's been the toughest part of getting SkyPostal into the hands of your ideal customers? And are there any bottlenecks you're experiencing around pipeline outreach or lead conversion?
I think it's really been about the time commitment for sellers and brands. They think it's hard, and I keep trying to reference it's really not that hard. Not like I said, not many people are doing it, so they don't know others that are doing it. Whereas when, if it once it hits 20-25% penetration, they're gonna know other sellers, other retailers, other brands that are doing it, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, we need to get in." Whereas right now, it's low key from the US side of who's talking about it. So getting, more people to realize that this is an easy market. It's close. It's easy. There's so much potential. It's growing at 30% a year for the next 2-3 years. So really getting that word out there and getting them to commit to, we need these sales and we need to get in now
Mhm.
before the penetration from US seller and competition grows.
Oh, that's
Totally.
awesome. Yeah. 30% year over year. Yeah. I mean, you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
ignore it. So, yeah.
No, absolutely not. Well, how do you see AI changing the way SkyPostal collaborates with its customers and other partners? And how might SkyPostal take advantage of these changes?
We've definitely started using AI more and more for customer interaction. So it's been very
Yeah.
high on customer interaction usage as most of our systems are built internally. So as we're hooking the different AI systems up, we're working through that sort of thing. As far as through the warehouse, they are doing other things in the warehouse as well to make ease of, accepting packages in and scanning and weights and stuff like that. There are different systems that they can do for weights. And hopefully soon, we can get things like if there are weight variances that we see that AI can start flagging things that seem to be a red flag, like a paperback book weighs 20 pounds. That's probably not the right one, like doing flags like that within
Oh,
the
yeah.
warehouse to start, helping to catch things. We don't get many of issues in the warehouse. Our warehouse runs fairly seamlessly, thankfully. And I think in Latin America right now, it'll be hard to establish anything with an AI because it's very customs and they're not
Oh,
at the
yeah.
same level of technology as we are up here. So
Yeah,
part of it
definitely.
on the US side, we're definitely adopting and adapting as much as we can into AI.
Mhm.
Well, Christy, this has been such a valuable conversation. For brands thinking about expanding into Latin America, what's one piece of advice you'd give them before they jump in?
Reach out to me and let me help you make the best decision. I
Definitely.
am on LinkedIn to just schedule. There's an appointment button on my LinkedIn to anybody can go and schedule some time with me. I am happy to whether they set up an account with Postal or not, whether they get into it or not. I'm happy to walk people through what the best scenario from themselves is and sort of guide them through that process.
For founders or product leaders listening and learning how to build AI into their business process, what advice would you give them?
Continue to adapt, adopt, and learn as much as you
Oh, yeah.
can. I am a huge believer of AI. I have like 5 different AI screens open on my computers at every day at all
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
I think it's the only way to go in this day and age to stay relevant within your company and within your business.
That's awesome. Do you have any favorite tools that you use, AI tools you recommend for the listeners?
Of course, ChatGPT. I
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
also use Claude and Perplexity the most, I would say.
Okay.
From those 3 are my top 3. Since I'm more sales and marketing, they tend to be the top 3 that I use.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Do you use them in kind of a workflow method,
Different ones for different
Yeah.
things. Perplexity has the best research model, I feel like, out there.
Hmm.
Claude, I feel like, does the best writing and, looking at different content. It's the best on content. And then
Hmm.
ChatGPT is kind of an overall, I mean, it kind of just does everything for you, right? Like,
Right. Yeah.
you're not using ChatGPT. I think that's crazy.
100%.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a bunch of internal tools that we use for AI, but I still use ChatGPT a lot. So it's just a great all
Same.
around thinker, creative assistant, everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, it really is. So, Christy, where can people learn more about Sky Postal or get in touch with your team?
Yeah, they can email me directly at crugh@skypostal.com. They can find me on LinkedIn, Christie Rugh on SkyPostal and message me. Like I said, they can book an appointment directly off of my LinkedIn, or if they go to skypostal.com, they can fill out an inquiry form and it comes to my team and we will get back with them.
That's perfect. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much again, Christie, for joining us today and for the work you're doing to bring transparency, trust, and technology together in logistics.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much too. So listeners, reach out to Christie. I just can imagine a flood of people wanting to reach out to you and say, we got to get into these markets like now. So that's great.
They should be. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
Of course, definitely. Well, for everyone listening, if you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to go follow Christie and SkyPostal and follow AI Chain Reaction on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube for more conversations at the intersection of AI, logistics, and business innovation.
And that brings us to the end of another episode of AI Chain Reaction. Thank you so much for tuning in and exploring the incredible world of AI and automation with us. We hope today's discussion sparked some new ideas and gave you valuable insights into how these technologies are shaping our future. Don't let the conversation stop here. What was your biggest takeaway from this episode? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing from you. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. For more resources and to learn how AI automation can transform your business, visit us at wintersaisolutions.com. Thanks again for being part of our community. Until next time, keep innovating and stay curious.